Hello, my name is Tabs, and a very warm welcome to episode 30 of the Growth Podcast. And what a podcast we have for you today. We're following on from last week's pod when Moz and I talked with Ask Cannon Picks, and we'll be chatting again with another Arsenal legend, a legend of the Arsenal online community. But before I introduce you to our very special guest, we need to say hello to my co-host today, someone who let me take over the steering wheel today for today's pod. He's also not feeling particularly great, so it's a bit lucky that I'm doing the honors today. So someone you all know and love, and that is Moz. Moz, how are you?
Hello, I'm good, Tabs. I'm good. You said episode 30, but you got a bit ahead of yourself. I'm sure this is episode 29, so I'll let you off.
I keep including the hidden episode.
Oh, okay. The Patreon episodes when we finally release that. But no, all good. I'm looking forward to hearing you host and seeing if you can do as bad a job and botch this as badly as I do every episode. So
I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm be fine. And how was your trip to Northern Ireland? Recovered?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Never getting on a ferry again, though. You spend half your life on that thing, and yeah, you think Scotland to Northern Ireland's about what? You could probably swim it, Tabs. You're that fit. Yeah. 2 hours on the ferry, and it's not ideal. But I'm back. I've just got a bit of a sore throat, so I thought I'd let you take the reins today.
Okay.
Why not?
Thank you very much. Now, Moz, I know you're a bit starstruck by our guest today, and to be honest, that's not surprising. This gentleman is, as I've said, a legend of the Arsenal online and social media community. He has a blog that's been running since 2007. He's been podcasting and the like for over a decade. He has an extremely popular Facebook and Twitter page with over 100,000 followers between the two of them. He's got an online shop with a massive range of brilliant Arsenal-related clothing and merchandise for both humans and pets. People send him pictures of bruised banana swim shorts and towels from all over the world. He's a massive advocate for silver members, a topic that is close to my heart. The merry month of May is his favourite month of the year. He is, of course, Gav, but otherwise known as She-War. Gav, welcome to the Growth Podcast. How are you?
A bit embarrassed by that introduction, mate, to be fair. Yeah. No, thank you. I'm good. I'm having a good day, mate. I sent out a load of bucket hats today after a couple of delays by a couple of days from the supplier. But yeah, no, the quality gear went out in the post, caught the post on time. So yeah, a few people could have a nice little drop tomorrow morning. Good
stuff. Good. And obviously for Father's Day, so there'll be a few gifts plumping into some Father's laps on Sunday, so that's good. And you've also been away recently, I read. You've been to Latvia and Slovenia. How was that?
No, okay, right. That's Kino.
Is that Kino?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to ask this because I wasn't too sure if it was you writing the blog. I said, "Who's Kino? Is that another name for you?" Oh, okay. Then sorry, you haven't been to Latvia and Slovenia.
No. So basically, cool. We could go right the way back to when I started doing what was initially a message board and blog.
Yeah.
Met a young lad on there called Kinos, and he writes a daily blog and has done for, I think he's missed one or two blogs or 1 or 2 days in about the last 2 or 3 years. And nobody really reads a lot of blogs these days. Everybody listens to great podcasts and puts their opinion on Twitter and Facebook and that. But he's just relentless. He loves writing every day about Arsenal, and I'm dyslexic and just haven't had the time to do it every day. But yeah, no, it's good. I mean, I like it's. I don't always agree with the blogs he writes, but he's writing at the moment, and some of the stuff that he comes out of, especially in the last couple of months, has been really, really good. Really a good read. It surprises me because I don't even know what he's going to fucking write about.
No, I've been reading him recently. I like to, before I get to a day's work, with my coffee, I'll read Ask blog, and then I'll read some of your blogs or Kino's blogs and stuff like that. It's just sort of easing my way into before I have to hit the emails and stuff. So, and look, sorry if I embarrassed you, but that's all you, mate. All I read out was what you do online and what you do with your shop and everything. So, I think it's good. Big kudos to you for all of that. So, but I did write I hope that wasn't too over the top for you. But it did seem like it was. But anyway, so before we launch into the sort of format of the show, just for any new listeners, anyone who's joining us for the first time, especially because we've got Gav on, I just wanted to sort of just share for people what the Grove Podcast is about. And in essence, it's a podcast by your ordinary, everyday Arsenal fans like Moz and myself, and for your ordinary, everyday Arsenal fans. I mean, we only started back in January, of this year. And during the season, we do reviews and previews of games. We do a bit of analysis. We have a bit of fun. And in essence, we're sharing our experiences and feelings about watching Arsenal in person or from afar, either traveling to games, meeting mates for drinks and so on. And we sort of hope that what Moz and I talk about resonates with other fans and it's sort of a shared experience and stuff like that. And so, we've enjoyed doing this, and hopefully our listeners have enjoyed hearing us. And now during the off season, we're trying to think of different things to do. So I said we're trying to try and meet some of the Arsenal community, have a chat with them, find out their origin stories, and something like that. So So welcome to anyone new to the pod. So that's the intro is done, and the reasons why we're here today. So the reason why we're here today is Gav. So the first section we want to get to know you, and the first section is called "Who Are You?" So Gav, who are you? Where are you from? How long you've been supporting Arsenal? What got you into supporting Arsenal?
Yeah, I hate that question. Where are you from? So, where are you from? I'm a London boy, obviously. I always say I'm from Islington, but I probably grew up, spent more time in sort of Ilford, Romford, that sort of area growing up than Islington. I've had spells living in Islington as well. Didn't have any choice. I don't remember deciding I'm going to be an Arsenal supporter. It was, my mum and dad were both Arsenal. My grandparents, my dad, my mum's dad, my granddad, he was Arsenal. My granddad's dad was Arsenal. All of my grandma's family, all her brothers and sisters were Arsenal. I even, believe it or not, used to chat Arsenal with my great-grandmother.
Wow.
Who was born in 1895. She passed away in her late 90s when I was about 18, 19. But like I say, I used to, when I used to see her, she used to ask me how did the games go, and like there's a couple of Boxing Days where I turn up late to family events, and she'd be the first one to call me over and how did they play and what was the score. And yeah, so it's kind of crazy that I've got a relative that was born in 1895 that used to pay an interest in the Arsenal. But yeah,
that's incredible. And they would have known all about Herb and Chapman and the like. So and it sounded like you really didn't have much choice, to be honest. It's not like you were going to, with that family history and all the Arsenal fans in your. It's not like you're going to end up supporting Tottenham, thankfully.
No. I actually had one of my earliest childhood memories. Actually, was in the upstairs in the Bank of Friendship on Blackstock Road.
Yeah,
and that was run by my dad's sister and her husband, and the husband was a Tottenham supporter, but he loved it because every other week he had the week off, so he had the Saturday off, so I could go and watch Tottenham. So, but there's been, like I say, a few people that are married in, do you know what I mean? Had a great uncle who supported QPR. But like I say, family events when I was younger was a big, massive family, and it was always talk about games. And, when they was all in a car, 4 of them in a car together up to a semi-final at Villa Park in the late 70s, and the car broke down. So they just left the car, got a train, never saw the car again. All sorts of stories. I mean, my dad and my granddad were both at White Hart Lane in 71.
Wow.
So it just is. There was it's like my kids. My kids have had no choice.
Yeah.
It's my son's initials are AFC, which is fun when you get even the junior gunner team clocked on, because it's not to Alfie, it's to Master AFC and then our surname. So even the junior gunner people got what we was doing.
Brilliant. I love that. And when some things are forced upon you, sometimes it's for the greater good. So there's no child cruelty going on here for sure.
No.
So that's great. Look, we'll touch on a bit about your Arsenal supporting experiences in a bit, but you're very well known for, your brand, shall we say, or just very well known for Chivor. So yeah, I really, really want to know more about that. Actually, when did that start? What was your inspiration for the idea, the various parts of it? How long you've been going, and yeah, just tell us all about the origins of Chivor and where you're with it.
It's all been a massive organic fluke. Seriously, I'm being honest here. A couple of the admin people and a lot of my close mates, we started posting on this. We all met on this website called Rivals.net.
Mm-hmm.
And the setup of Rivals.net, this is going back to, the early 2000s. And Rivals.net, they had a different page for each club. So there's like 92 pages and then like 10 pages for the Scottish teams. And you signed up to the Arsenal page and then you talked to Arsenal all day, but you could use your login to go onto other people's message boards. So, and we just used to spend all day at work typing messages to each other, and all with pseudonyms, no faces, no real names, and we probably didn't even have a big meet-up for about 2 or 3 years. And that was all going on swimmingly, and Rivals.net got bought out by Sky TV. Sky TV then changed the format of the message boards, and nobody was happy. Nobody likes change, do they?
No.
And another company set up, which is called Fans Online. And around that time, the person I'm still mates with, a gentleman called Ike, he got promoted at work and couldn't run the Arsenal page. So, whereas I wasn't working at the time, and they said, "I'll have you set it up. You're the one not working." So basically, I set it up. And at that time, the original name was Art Online. That was the original name that Ike came up with.
You don't want to be searching that in Google at the moment, would you?
No, exactly. But yeah, no. So so that happened, and I set it up. We had to think about a new name, and a lot of us were at that point going in the clock end all the time. We had roots in the clock end, so I'm in an argument with that. And I said, well, why don't we call it Chivor Yellow Ribbon? And yeah, so when it changed over to Fans Online, we changed the name to Chivor Yellow Ribbon, and really it was like 15 of us who just used to have a chat about Arsenal on this basic message board with no pictures. It was all text and pseudonyms. Mm. And yeah, it kind of went along from there, and we started meeting up. And then this fella called Mark, I'll call him Mark. Mark, he was one of the younger than us and more hip and trendy than us. And he said, look, why don't we? He said, look, I'm on Facebook. And we was like, what the hell is Facebook? So we all sort of joined up on Facebook, and then I thought, I'll do a little page on Facebook to promote the blog. Because, I was writing a blog back then, and so, everyone was sort of writing a blog every now and then. And so I set up a Facebook page for that and invited them, and they invited their friends, and I started, it just kind of went from there, and I started meeting Arsenal supporters online, from Facebook, and inviting them, and it really just built up from friends of friends. And there was another website that they used to go on, and they used to meet up with people on that, and when they joined up on Facebook, they joined in as well, and it just kind of went from there, really. And I never remember thinking, I've got 100 people following now, or I've got 1,000 people following. I never really looked at the numbers behind it. So I mean, the only time I looked at the numbers was like, wouldn't it be good to have as many people following as would actually fit in the ground? And that was sort of like the only sort of thing. But yeah, that went on for blimey. I was doing that and the blog and the Facebook and the message board, and the message board just died out as Facebook got more popular. The message board died out, and then I opened up a Twitter account, which I got the Twitter account set up so anything I put on Facebook automatically generated over to Twitter. But I never actually went on. I never logged in or anything. I just set up the username and just let it migrate over. And then when I started using Twitter properly was to promote. I was one of, I think it was 4 or 5 others that mainly put together an evening in remembrance of David Rocastle.
All right.
At the Rocket on Holloway Road, the university bar there.
Yeah.
And I started using, again, Mark said, why don't you promote this on Twitter? And then, so I started going on Twitter, and he was mates with Pedro, who runs The Grove, who was helping promote it. And again, on Twitter, I don't remember ever counting followers or looking at followers on that for years as well. So that went on. The night at, which was packed out night, I think it raised around £10,000 that evening for various charities. Willow, Great Ormond Street. Yeah.
Brilliant.
And around that sort of time, I think, it was around that sort of time. It was leading up to that League Cup final that we lost to Birmingham.
Oh, Birmingham. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I started doing a few She Wore polo shirts.
Mm-hmm.
And I just to knock them out in a bag in the pubs of the Bailey and the Wee and Gown on Holloway Road. And that kind of did that for a bit. And that was kind of the first bit of merchandise I sort of done, really. The actual merchandise shop come later. Basically, in about 10.5 years ago, my eyesight just went wonky for a couple of months, and I lost my job over it.
Oh.
And then on the Facebook page and Twitter, I used to help promote Islington Boxing Club. Mm-hmm. And I know the events manager there and the chairman, and I've got to know all them from there. Really great set of lads at Islington Boxing Club. And one of them said to me, "Look, Gav," he said, one of my mates has got a load of She Wore yellow ribbon badge pins. Do you want any? And I was like, and between us at the time, we had 50 quid left in the overdraft. It was a week before the mortgage had to be paid. And proper like stitching at the time.
Wow.
So with the last 50 quid of the overdraft, we bought these 50 badge pins, got some yellow ribbon, cut it up into like sort of 10-metre strips and put the yellow ribbon behind the badge pin and put them on the Facebook page. Can you please pay by PayPal? And the 50 went in a couple of minutes. So I phoned the fellow up, "Can I have 100, please?" And he went, "Okay." So I waited 2 days until the 100 turned up. And then they sold in 5 minutes. And it was all done by PayPal and all writing down names and addresses on envelopes and bits of paper and running around shops trying to find yellow ribbon, because we just basically exhausted all the yellow ribbon supply in all the shops around us. And that went along we paid the mortgage, and then thought, we'll do polo shirts again. So I phoned up, I literally went on Google, found the nearest place that done polo shirts and T-shirts. This Irish fellow answered the phone, and I said, "Well, this is what I want to do. I want to sell them, then tell you what sizes I want, and then you make them for me," thinking that he's going to tell me to bugger off. And he went, "Yeah, we'll do that."
Wow.
And 10 years later, he's like my best mate, Ken. He's still doing all my clothing. We get it wrong sometimes. We get it right more than we get it wrong. But yeah, he's still my mate. We've brought each other through some happy times and bad times. But yeah, and then about on the 26th of May in 2014 was when I actually launched a official online shop.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of gone from there. And I kick myself at the end of every month when I can pay the bills. I kick myself that we've managed another month.
Oh wow, you still don't believe it's real type stuff.
I take absolutely nothing for granted about anything, and like I say, the car's 9 years old, the flat's still got a mortgage on it, it's still in the same flat. It's it's not like we've earned a fortune out of it. I haven't. It's some months I look at it and think I'll be better off stacking shelves. But I still enjoy it. I still get a kick out of it, and it gives me the freedom to live my life how I need to at the moment. So, that's kind of how it's all happened, really.
Wow, that is, I was just sitting there listening. That's brilliant. Really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that. And actually, what was interesting was I was just thinking, and maybe Moz also as well. There were some parallels to how Moz and I have met, and behind the Grove podcast, we have a group of us called The Grove, who are just a bunch of people that we met on Reddit. So it's another one of these faceless with mock names and all that, chatting about Arsenal, and then a group of us out of that all got together and about a year ago, and we're now a great community of friends. There's about 60, 70 of us from all over the world, all over the UK, who chatting online all day on WhatsApp. So when you were saying, we're speaking all day messaging, I can resonate with that. And sometimes if you don't look at your phone for 5 minutes, there's 200 messages that you've and there's a few more pictures these days than you would have had back in the day, but and then now some are really good friends. We meet up before games, we meet up after games, and we've got this podcast that's come out of it. We do a little match day program, fanzine type thing for us and stuff. So you're right. All these things happen organically. If you share a passion, you've got have some friends, and it's good fun. It's amazing what can come out of it. So, but I really like that story. But what about your logo then? Where did you come up with that? Like the smiley yellow face with the Bruce Banana bucket hat. It's very mid-late 80s acid house vibe. So I was just trying to work out, was that your scene back in the day, or?
Yeah. No, basically it was, I had one of the, when I was looking at when I sometimes look at what sort of stuff to do, t-shirts and stuff like that, I've harked back to ones that, I was buying when I was sort of 14, 15, 16, 17 sort of thing. I always used to love buying something off the stalls outside Highbury. And, like I say, there used to be an Arsenal acid one. Look, I ended up going on a building site, I think, and ruined it. But I've still got my Scousbuster one from 1989. That's still tucked away in a wardrobe somewhere. But it was, that logo come out. First of all, I done it with a smiley face with a red and white bucket hat with a cannon on it. And then it was Ken who does my clothing. He designed it. I said, I want to do a smiley face, but instead of a bandana, fuck it, we'll put a bucket hat on it. And so that's kind of been my logo since, really. But I couldn't even tell you how many years I've had that as a logo now.
But actually now Bruce Banana now, even the club have realised, well, look, I've got the shirt behind me, I've got the hat, I've got the mug, whatever. It's become iconic. Back in the day, they called it a horrible pair of curtains, and now it's iconic, and it's synonymous with the likes of Ian Wright, with David Rocastle, and the likes of that. So I think that was a really good choice to make.
Yeah, it was someone I know recently at the end of the season said, again, I was bored before the game. I went in the club shop. He said, it was like looking at all your greatest hits. And like I say, even though I was embarrassed by the introduction, I loved the Bruce Banana shirt. It was quite Marmite at the time.
Yeah.
But being is when that come out, I had me long hair, I had me long curtains, and I used to wear that down the pub and stuff like that shirt, even when we weren't playing. And I'm not really, never been a massive sort of shirt wearer, really, apart from games when up until I was about 30. But it was, it's some of the stuff that I done with that has made it immensely popular. The first year that I done Bruce Banana beach towels, first floor flat, 5 pallet loads turned up, right? And I said, and I'm looking, thinking, I've got to get these up the stairs. Right, that was the first thing. And then it was like, I've got to try and fit these in the flat. And then the person, like the lorry driver, said, "Right, see you later." I went, "What do you mean, see you later?" I said, "You're going to take the pallets back?" He went, "No." He said, "You've got to dispose of the pallets."
No way.
Where am I going to put them? I said, "I've got a Volkswagen Golf. I'm not even going to get a pallet in the Golf." So, I remember that brightly. I said, "Look," no, I'm into my green and environmental friendly and blah, 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 blah. I said, "You're going to have to stay and take the pallets back." And he went, oh. He had the right arm. He ended up helping me unload the boxes off the pallets, but just literally just stuck them on the street. Do you know what I mean? So,
God.
yeah, so he could get his pallets and bugger off, sort of thing. But yeah, I do like that. Do you know what I mean? I'm sitting here looking at a bruised banana beanbag that I've got that I love, and yeah, it's crazy.
No, and actually, and this leads us on to the parallels we had. So we spoke to Ask Canon Pics, and his thing on Twitter is getting pictures of cannons from all over the world from fans. And I don't know if you're in competition with each other, but also you've got your Bruised Banana shorts, and you point out the swim towels. You get sent pictures from all over the world around that. So you know what inspired you to do that, and then we're going to ask the same questions that we asked last week. What's your favorite picture? Where's the favorite picture come from? And have you had any dodgy pictures that you couldn't post?
Yeah, no. I mean, I think I've done it. I've done it for 2 or 3 summers running. I mean, people started sending me pictures of where they were.
Yeah.
So I got this app which costs about £3 a year.
Yeah.
And it's basically meant to be for people to take where they've been in the world. It's for, and I just thought, right, I'll just put these little circles for where people have gone. And to be brutal and to be fair, it's a bit of marketing.
Yeah.
It's a bit of fun. Do you know what I mean? And like I say, I've done it. I do it every summer. I'm going to probably start again the 1st of July and just say, right, where are you? Take a picture of wearing anything that you bought off of me.
Yeah.
And like I say, I retweet it, and every week I update the map. And it's just a bit of, like I say, it's a bit of fun.
Yeah.
But also, it's a bit of marketing. Do you know what I mean?
No,
I'll hold my hands up. Do you know what I mean?
No. That's what Twitter's there for. That's what Facebook is there. You got a shop, you've got a life, you've got a business to run. No one begrudges that. I think it's quite a sweet way to do it and to promote and get these.
People love it as well. People love taking pictures of where they are on holiday.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? It works for everybody.
Yeah, I like the one I said. I thank you. The video that you shared. I love the one from Alcatraz prison in one of the cells, and the tower. I thought that was pretty cool to see. So that's great. And I love hearing all about it, and that's an amazing backstory. Now, on that note, before we move on to part 2, Moz, I need you to describe to listeners what you're about to see on screen, just on what we were talking about.
Okay, God. Oh my God. Oh, right. Okay, Tabs, just shorts. He took off his shorts, and I said to him before, you're not going to expose yourself on this podcast, are you? And he's not, but he's now got a pair of Bruised Banana shorts on underneath. I'm so glad, Tabs, that there was something else underneath those. Please never do that again.
There we go. Do that in honor of our guest. I had to don my pair. I only got them a few weeks back, so yeah, and it's not exactly been the weather to wear them. So actually, it's like I think it's the first time I actually put them on. So there we go. Sorry, I had to do that for you.
Yeah, I do. First Tabs, seeing that or seeing your creepy smile as you were about to get out of it, do it to us. But all good. We're survived.
Anyway, Moz, over to you. We love you, Arsenal. We do.
Yeah, so part 2 is more about kind of the club itself, Gav. So I've been so silent just listening to your story, and I'm kind of being a massive fanboy right now because, I do have tweet notifications on for you. So whenever you tweet, it comes up on my phone. I've got it for you and a few others. So, and I followed you ever since, in fact, it was actually my 9th anniversary of having my Twitter account yesterday. And I think I've followed you ever since I discovered you. all the way back.
Bloody hell.
So,
I think, right?
we've spoke before. We've exchanged tweets, and I did look at our DMs to see if I've ever DM'd you about anything, and I had, but it was only just recently about the bond I was selling, and you very kindly reposted it, which led to a sale. So I'll get your commission to you one way or another. But this part is more about kind of Arsenal itself and the club. So my first question is, what was the first game you ever went to?
The first game I went to was I can't remember who we played against. It was a lower league team, and it was I think it was like the third round of the League Cup where it was 2 legs. And I think we won 3-0 away, and it was 0-0. And it was right drab and boring. It was a night game. And my mother still doesn't know that I went to that game. Because she didn't want to go. It was in 1980. I think it was 85, 86 season or 86, 87 season. Can't really remember. It was around that time.
Whilst you keep going through the questions tabs, I've got a little bit of homework for you. Why don't you try Googling and finding it?
It's around that sort of time. I was about 13, 14. So it's got to be around that sort of time.
My daughter was texting me. So sorry, which game was it again? Who was it?
It was a League Cup game at Highbury, and it was 0-0, and I think it was the second leg.
0-0.
Oh, thinking long ago.
Okay, League Cup. Okay, I'll get onto that.
I've got really hazy memories, but basically my mum wouldn't take me Arsenal, even though my mum's been hundreds of games herself. My granddad used to work on Saturdays, so I got a paper round. I used to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to earn about £3 or £4 a week, and that's what paid for me going Arsenal for about a year before my mother actually found out I was going up there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So Tabs is going to do some research and find out exactly what game this was. My next question is, what's been your favourite away trip or away ground that you've been to supporting Arsenal?
Oh, bloody hell. The favourite day out or the favourite ground?
Do both. Do both.
Oh, my favourite ground to go to was Upton Park. That never disappointed in all manner of things. And being, like I say, I spent a lot of my time when I was a kid, sort of Ilford Watford way. I had quite a few mates at all West Ham, so it was always a big Arsenal West Ham rivalry at the schools. I had some fun and games at Upton Park. And like I say, when I was, I'm trying to work out how old I was, in sort of like in my 30s, we would go and there would be about 6 Arsenal and about 6 West Ham, and we'd all meet up in the pub on Barking Road afterwards, and had that, and obviously all the madness that was late 80s and early 90s of going up Upton Park as well. And then when it went all seater, I went a couple of times in their end. Got rumbled once and had to leave when this fella stood up, and he was a seat behind me, but I was literally looking at the fella's belly button. I was like, shit, mate. And he sort of pointed at the exit. I'm like, thank you. And left. That was the game where they were 2-0 up and missed the penalty. We went down the other end and scored, and I just started bursting out laughing. And as I got out the ground, I heard a little cheer go up and realised it was 2-2. So that was a good one. Favourite game though, probably I enjoyed the Chelsea Cup final win in Cardiff. That was another mental day and a great game. I could go on for ages, mate. Beating Tottenham at Old Trafford. That was another nuts of a weekend. The 3-1, I think that was. But it's too lots to mention to single any out, really.
Beating Tottenham was always a personal favourite of mine as well, so glad you have mentioned that. What's your best memory for Arsenal? So it could be either a cup win or lifting a trophy or a game or a moment. What's been your best memory?
That's a tough one. I really should have read this. Just quick. I did read your notes, but that was a couple of days ago. Best memory. They kind of all been really. I think the Rocastle night stands out quite a lot. The charity night that we put on in remembrance for David Rocastle. That was a special Arsenal related thing. I know it's not exactly a game, but that was a special one. Memories of game really. See, I'm more of what happened before and after games as well as the game. Do you know what I mean? I've got fond memories of the day of that Ian Wright got his hat trick down at the Dell, because four of us got out of this full Capri in our raving gear from the night before, a little bit worse for wear from Moroccan's finest hashish, and the locals looking at us of like, what the hell are they wearing? Do you know what I mean? And what the hell is that sort of thing? All of us with our long hair and stuff. Yeah, no, there's loads. I can mumble on about games and events probably for another hour, really. But yeah, actual games itself is tricky. I mean, obviously, what I wasn't at Anfield '89, I'll hold my hands up and say I wasn't there. But obviously, that was special when I watched that. '91, the day we won the league at '91 at Highbury, that was a special day, a special game. Yeah, there's been too many, mate. There's too many to single any out, really.
Okay. On the flip side, then, what's been your worst Arsenal memory?
Oh, that semi-final in 1991.
Wow. Okay.
That was a bad one. The '88 losing to West Ham at Highbury in the FA Cup and having to come home on the train packed with West Ham supporters. A certain Leroy Rostinha scoring a goal. That was a bad one. Yeah, them two really stand out.
Not the Champions League final, then. That's an interesting one. Most people would say the Champions League final that we've spoke to. But
no. I mean, it was. I mean, I watched that in an Irish bar in the suburbs of Paris. It was disappointing, but it wasn't like I knew too many PSG supporters to give me banter and to give me grief over it.
Okay.
So it didn't kind of hurt as much.
Okay, that's fair enough. Okay, almost quick fire questions, or not so quick fire questions, I guess. Who's your favourite current Arsenal player and why?
White, because he's just a nuisance. I love players that are good and they're a nuisance and they're a bit of a wind up. They can put their foot in, they can play a bit. Yeah, I've got a soft spot for White.
Okay, and who's your favourite Arsenal player of all time and why?
Merson. I had the hair. It was, growing up, he was sort of like, sometimes he was the only bright spark in what could be a dull to watch team sometimes. And he was a bit of a maverick at times. Scored some absolutely cracking goals. But Paul Merson growing up.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for the quick fire questions. Tabs, back to you then for the final part of the podcast. And can I just say, Tabs, you're doing a grand old job at hosting. Even though during the recording we've been going for about 40 minutes, you've been replying to texts from your daughter, you've left the room multiple times, you've exposed yourself on camera, God knows what else. I'm just waiting for you to show Gab what has a block behind you as well.
Oh,
I gotta mention that.
No, my daughter's doing some GCSE preparation, and she's decided to print whilst I'm in the middle of the bloody podcast. And I must admit, I did say it was okay. I just didn't realise how long it was going to go on for. All right, and so you've been on mute, and I went out to give her some of the printouts. Anyway, that's enough of my domestic bliss. All I could find, 86-87, was a 1-1 draw at home against Huddersfield. That was the most dull.
Might have been that then.
Yeah, that was it. We won. I think 3-1 in aggregate. Oh no, that was in Huddersfield. So it can't have been that game either. No, I could not find anything that was 0-0 or anything like that. So 86-87, we 2-0 against Huddersfield. 3-1 against City, 2-0 against Charlton, 2-0 against Forest. And and then that was the season, was the brilliant Rocastle winner at White Hart Lane, after they famously announced ticket sale details at half-time of extra time. And then it was Allison and Rocastle got the winner.
Yeah.
And we went and we fucked Russia's record up and won 2-1 at Wembley. So, well, hopefully that was it, because if that was your first season.
Yeah, I mean, it was, like I say, I know I was, like I say, I mean, we're going back too many years, and there's been too much abuse to my brain since then. But it was, like I say, I just remember being at a Dole game.
Yeah.
And it was at Highbury. It was a midweek. I think it was like a third round or second round League Cup game. It must have been around 86, 85, 86, 87 season. I don't know where I go.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry, as we age and get grey hairs, the memory does funny things to you. So it's yeah, and especially back in that day, it was great when you talk about Merson and stuff. Yeah, we did have pockets of great play and great players, but then there was also a lot of dross back in the day. So I can imagine why it's not always easy to remember. So look, so anyway, yeah, no, so great to hear for that, and thanks. So now we just want to move on to the sort of the third and final part of the show, where we sort of talk a bit about the current Arsenal team, and just get some of your thoughts about that and the current season. So yeah. So how do you feel about the current Arsenal team? What's your sense of how we're doing, where we're going, and the season just gone, and what you hope for next season?
Yeah, I mean, I love Arteta. I absolutely love him. He's a little bit. When you saw that sort of documentary, you can tell that he comes out with some stuff that you're thinking, how the hell did he think of that team speech, or that warm up, and the way his mannerisms at times. The fella just baffles me, and the way he sets up teams with inverted fullbacks and. Yeah, no, like the fella is an absolute genius. He's without doubt, pound for pound, the best manager that I've seen. Simple as that. Do you know what I mean? But he's absolutely brilliant, the fella. And it's hard to talk about last season, the last two seasons, without mentioning Man City.
Yeah.
It's very hard. And the fact that they have or haven't manipulated the rules and regulations to be in a position where they can literally have 2 11s that would finish in the top 4, 2 starting 11s that finish in the top 4, and to do so well against them and to get so close, yeah, it's brilliant. And the starting 11 that we've got, or indeed the starting sort of 13, 14, will give anybody a run for their money on the day. But we lose 1 or 2 players, 1 or 2 key players, or 1 or 2 key players are off form, then we're a bit susceptible to get beat or to get a draw, which is the difference that Man City haven't got. A fully fit Partey from 2 or 3 years ago. I know you can laugh about the words fully fit and Partey in the same sentence. That was kind of like, that would have been remarkable this year, and last year as well. Would have maybe even a little bit tighter, maybe or even nicked them. And there are areas that were weaker for second string. I think we was absolutely gutted for Timber that he missed the whole of the season, more or less. He would have made a massive difference, especially as like left back was pretty much a weakness at points. Do you want Zinchenko's going to cut inside and get the ball? He's constantly going over his head, and we're getting scored against that. Or Tomiyasu's not as good going forwards. It's been a juggling act. If we had like a Benjamin White at left back, that would have been ideal, and hopefully Timber's going to be that kind of player for us next season. So I'm not too worried about the defence. We was very lucky that we didn't have any major. I mean, I think Saliba played literally every minute or something like that. I read a stat like that, and he was the first overseas defender to have played as many minutes this last season. But again, if we lose Timber or Gabs, we're in a little bit of trouble with second and third choice centre backs. We're in a little bit of trouble for reserves in the whatever position you call it these days, the defensive midfielder, the holding position, and obviously we're a little bit weak on who replaces Saka when Saka needs a breather. And as good as Kai's been, and he's come on, from how he started to how he's finished the season, it's like watching a different player. But again, it would be nice to have a big lump who knows where the goal is, and all he wants to do is shoot, and he knows exactly where it is. He can, wherever he's on the pitch, he can close his eyes and he knows where the fucking goal is. He likes to shoot. And he don't, he's not scared to shoot. We're kind of missing one of them as well.
No nonsense. Yeah.
Yeah. So, left side of midfield, with Martinez and fuck me, my brain's going today. the little fella from Brighton that likes making goggles.
Trossard.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
Absolutely superb them too. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's again, like I say, I've probably mentioned 2 or 3 places where we need like a reserve player in, somebody like a very high standard second choice, but it'd be really hard to be critical about any of the first sort of like who you expect to be the first sort of 11, 12, 13 players this year.
No, I agree, and Sam, and look, you Arteta trusts a certain group, and it's a small group, and we have other players on the periphery, which is it's a hard juggling act. He juggled it really well, and bar one result or here or there, we would have been champions, and yeah, the sentiment around City, it is what it is. We got to deal with it and do our best, and hopefully next season we can move on again. But with that then, so what is it that you're looking for then in terms of transfer business? Where is it do you think we need to feasibly, strengthen, either particular positions that we strengthen or any particular players? Before I let you answer, I find it really difficult at the moment because we need to get into winning mode. In order to get into winning mode, we need players who are as good as the ones that we've got or even better. And I'm not seeing that readily available on the market, or they're just going to come at such a price and it's going to be difficult and expensive. So I think this transfer window is going to be one of the hardest that we're having to deal with to deal with, because it's just we need to go one level up, and yeah. So what are your thoughts? What you're hoping to get done business wise this summer?
Yeah, it's tricky because if we're looking to replace what we've got, then you're looking at big money. There's going to be big money to be spent, and then are you putting out somebody else's nose out of joint? So I guess they're kind of looking for like an older journeyman players that can fit in, players that are sort of like 30 plus, or perhaps they're looking at 18, 19-year-olds who can come in and grow with the team in the next year or two. To get the perfect player who's aged 25 to 28, who's got 30, 40 international caps at a decent standard, and who's played for teams that have won stuff, yeah, you're looking at big money for that. But I'd really, and I said it all last summer, like I say, I've got a very good contact at West Ham. So, I knew Rice was going to come. He was only going to come to us. That was nailed on, and everybody was talking about centre forwards, and Kai Havertz was a bit of a shock. And I was one of those with my hands in the air saying, "Oh, not another fucking Chelsea reject." After Gaddis and all that, you can let them.
Really, yeah.
But it was like, now it's sort of, my head from last summer was that this is the summer that they're going to buy the worldly centre forward, who's going to be the final key to the jigsaw. So that's where I'd like the big money spent.
Yeah.
But like I say, Saka needs someone. We need someone who can cover Saka. Do you know what I mean? We run him into the ground, and I read a medical report on him that they said they don't know where his red line is. Because his body recovers just remarkably quicker when they do all these tests on him. And they can't work out why his body recovers quicker than everybody else's. But he does get kicked a lot.
Yeah.
And we are, we're not as good without Saka. Obviously, Saka's fucking brilliant. But we need somebody who can play like 10, 15 games, come on for 20 minutes at the end if we got the game won. Play the the earlier rounds of the Champions League group stages. Play the FA. We definitely need somebody who can fill Saka's boots every now and then.
No, I agree. It's going to be a tricky summer. There are key places up front, even in midfield and even in defence. So look, we trust the process. There's been a few misses, but in recent years there's been a lot of hits. So let's hope Edu cracks out the barbecue and gets cooking. Yeah, exactly. And in terms of players that you think have to leave or are going to leave, who do you think's in the departure lounge?
Yeah, it's tricky. I mean, again, to promote Keno's has written some absolutely amazing blogs on player fees, amortization, how to stay on the right track with all these rules and regulations. Look, one certain club don't care about. So it wouldn't surprise me to see a couple of the players that have no book value being sold. Players like Nelson, Smith Rowe, they would, Eddie. Them three players, I mean, for example, you sell them three players, whatever you get, you can spend 4 times the amount on the transfer fee.
Yeah.
So I would expect at least 2 of them three to go in the summer. Anybody else really would be a bit of a surprise, if I'm being honest. Partey, hopefully somebody will take some money or give us some money for Partey. And again, that's a position that I would really like to see us get a strong player in there, because Declan Rice, really, I mean, he plays a good, when he drops back, he's good, but also I like to see him alongside Odegaard. I think that would, he can play both positions for us, especially when we're doing a high press. He's ideal to have up the pitch a bit higher. But Partey and them three would be the 4 that I would think we'd get decent money for. And look, we could probably do without.
We've lost you.
You lost me?
Yeah, sorry, we can do without. And I was like waiting with bated breath.
Oh, yeah, that was it. They're the 4 that we could do without.
Oh, they're the 4. Oh, sorry. And I'll do it up at the end. Okay, sorry. My bad. Sorry. No, yeah, I think you're right. That one about the book value. No, that was really that blog. I read that a couple of times, and it really helped me make sense, because everyone, a lot of people say, oh, we bought him for 30 million, and now we're only selling him for 10 million. Yes, but on the books, he's only worth 5 million, so that's a 5 million profit as far as you can. So, and then also taking into account wages as well, and I think that's the tricky part with what we're trying to sell in the summer is. We have Nelson and Nketiah on 100k plus wages, and that has to be taken into account. So yeah, I'm of the nature where we take what we can get. We don't have to replace all of them. We can replace, I don't know how many minutes, it's maybe 2,000 minutes between the 3 of them with 1 or 2 players. You don't have to replace 2 players. We can get some youth guys in, like Nweri can come along and maybe he can take those minutes. So I there's basically, I think people are going to be unhappy with the money that we get this year from them, because people know we don't want them. So if you're selling old stock that you don't want, well, people know that you're not going to get a top price for it. So it works the same. So it's I think there's going to be a lot of angst, shall we say, on Twitter about it. But I say just get what we can, get them off the books, and use that money for other players, and then as I said, trust the process. And so in terms of next season, what your expectations, hopes? I mean, again, I think every year our expectations are getting higher and higher, and it's going to sort of reach boiling point where something needs to break. Either we win a trophy or fans start to turn or whatever. I think it's going to be a really interesting season, especially in the stadium, because everyone's expectations are lifted again, and Arteta's lifting those expectations. He said at the end, against Everton, don't accept this, don't accept anything less. So yeah, what do you hope for next season apart from the obvious?
Yeah, same again, really. just the same again. I mean, it'd be nice to go a little bit further in Europe, but yeah, I'm of the mental mindset that we're cursed in Europe anyway. So whatever happens in there is just like a bonus. It would be. I would like them to take the FA Cup a lot more seriously. Obviously, you know, I do love the FA Cup. I think the name of my blog and everything kind of gives that away. So yeah, it'd be nice to get to the final of the FA Cup again. You know, it'd be nice if you take it really seriously, to be fair. You know, all them years that previous managers put out, you know, second string teams in FA Cup games used to drive me mental, absolutely mental. So yeah, but he's just got to carry on doing what he's doing. And if you look at the average age of the squad, you look at some of the players and the experience that they've built up over the last couple of years. I mean, like I say, 2 years ago, would you have thought Saka would be as good as he is now? And we've got Declan Rice, who seems to just be getting better and better. I mean, he was quality for West Ham, but he's just getting better and better. But yeah, you'd really want us to keep progressing or to keep at the level we are. Because, I mean, it's hard to say, yeah, we want to do better because, like I say, it's, as you can see the stats, it was like the most games won and the least goals conceded and the most, every single stat was like the best Arsenal team in the Premier League ever. But we ended up second. And so we've just got to keep going, and Arteta won't be happy. You know, Arteta's going to go all out. And as you said before, Edu and his lucky little light blue shirt that he wears for when he's, you know, revealing a new transfer. You know, I think he's going to get that well pressed and looking smart this summer. So we've just, it's unfortunate as you kind of sound it really. What if we stay the same? But what we really need is Man City to implode a little bit.
Yeah, no,
we can't do much. Nobody could do much better than what we've done.
Yeah, no, I agree. A bit of luck, a bit of this, bit of that. Yeah, you're right. It could go either way, but no, I really like that, and agree with what I was saying. So look, agree with a lot of what you're saying. But anyway, before we wrap up in the next 5 minutes, you know, we've got the Euros on our doorstep starting tomorrow. I know Moz is beside himself with the excitement, especially if Scotland are in the opening game versus Germany. I mean, he's a bit deluded about what he thinks is going to happen.
I'm a realist. I know you're going to win the Euros. So
I was going to say, look, with a Scotsman and an Italian, you're, you know, Gav, you're the only one with a team with any hope of winning this. So, like, yeah, are you looking forward to it? What are you expecting from this England team? And then also, do you find it difficult supporting the likes of Kane, Foden and Cole Palmer, or can you put those loyalties to one side?
I would strongly suggest that all of our three national countries have got equal chance of winning it.
No, Scotland have a good chance, don't
yeah. Yeah, it's tricky. I mean, because I think the first professional game I went to was England versus Northern Ireland in the last season of the
home internationals,
yeah. And but I found myself, I think I was about 11 years old, screaming for Tony Woodcock or whoever. I think because he was the only Arsenal player on the pitch. But I'm not really big on England games. Up until 96, it was a good giggle because it was a bit rebellious to be an England supporter. But again, even then, I didn't go many games, but I used to go down the pub. After Euro 96, it got a little bit, to me, it got a little bit tamed down and toned down and stuff. I still used to go out and watch the games, but I would, like, if Sheringham scored, I wouldn't even stand up. The whole pub would be going off and jumping about, and I'd still be sitting down. So I wouldn't count the goals that were scored by Tottenham players. I think the fact that there's no Tottenham players in the squad probably makes it the best England squad ever. But obviously Kane has still got that lurgy attached to him where he, you know, I mean, if Kane falls over and injures himself in the first game, we might stand a chance of winning a trophy. But what they'd have to do is kick him home, get him on. I mean, just get him out the whole of Germany. You know, send him back to them go on holiday somewhere. Just get him out of Europe, get him as far away as possible, and then we got a slight chance. And I'll be honest with you, I've played, obviously, because I do run social media, and so I thought to myself, you know, if there's an England game on or the game's on, you know, I've got to comment, or one of the admin boys, you know, should comment on the games that are being played and stuff like that. So come, is it the first game Friday, isn't it?
Germany play on Friday. England's first game is on Sunday.
Yeah. So, I mean, I will watch the England game Sunday. Friday, I might have it on. I might not. But I'm not over-injured from watching international football. I never really have been. And I'll be honest with you as well here. That's why I can't give you any names of players to transfer in. I literally only watch Arsenal games.
Yeah. No, that's fair. A lot of people are club over country, and you know, if you're to ask me, like, Arsenal all the way. You know, we spend so much time investing in it, watching it, talking about it, whatever. So I think the internationals is a nice sort of side distraction. I mean, particularly for me a few years back, that was good fun. But yeah, I don't feel a loss like I do when Arsenal lose or players get injured, whatever. So it's just a nice thing that every couple of years, and if they do well, it's great, you know. And then we patronise the likes of the Scots, who get to the odd tournament every now and then, and it's good for them to get out of Scotland and whatnot. So
yeah, no, I mean, I did. So one of my mates, Jimmy's. If he's not in Germany now, he will be tomorrow. Him and his boys are doing like he's followed Scotland around the world for years and years, and all these boys are getting on a bit, so they're doing their last hurrah, and they've booked up. I took the mick out of him slightly. They've booked up all the corporates. They've paid big money, and they're all in. They're all of gentlemen of near retirement age, and they said, right, we'll just go for it on this one. So they've all spent all their hard-earned savings, and I messaged him the other day and said, have a bloody great time, mate. Do you know what I mean? Enjoy yourself. I mean, 200,000 Scots are apparently expected in Germany.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? Crack on, have a good time, lads and ladies.
Yeah, no.
Win the Euros. Bring it home, Scotland. Come on. As they say in Scotland, come on, Scotland. The only time I will ever support a team wearing blue is when Scotland play. Never, ever do that any other time. So, come on, Scotland. You're getting all giddy and excited. This time tomorrow will be 3-1 up. Kai Havertz will score for Germany, but John McGinn will score a hat-trick for Scotland in the second half. And end up being almost about 7-1 against Hungary in the next game, or whoever else we've got in our group.
I'm looking forward to that, Moz. I'm looking forward to the chat on the on the Grove. So there we go. No, thank you for that. Thank you. And I've got one final question. We ask this of all our guests, and I think I know your answer to this. So Gav, what do you think of Tottenham?
Oh shit.
Oh well, thank you.
That's all right.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, well look, Gav, it has been a real pleasure to have you on the pod. I've loved chatting to you. I'm sure Moz has loved chatting to you, finding out about you, your background, your love of Arsenal. We now, there's a face behind the smiley face and the bucket hat. There's really interesting how it's all panned out, and how you became an Arsenal fan and everything. So that's been great. But so just to wrap it up, for those that don't know, and I'll be really surprised if they don't, where can people find you online? What's your Twitter handle or Facebook or your shop address?
How am I?
Yeah.
I have to try and remember them all. Firstly, thanks for inviting me. I haven't done a podcast in absolute ages, and I said, when did you record it? You went Thursdays. I went, yeah, no, that's good. Do you know what I mean? So, like I say, thank you so much for inviting me. I've enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed it, Moz's optimism about Scotland, and I even enjoyed you stripping off. So, yeah, that was good. Right, well, we'll start on the most important one, my shop. is shewarshop.com. The Facebook is facebook.com/shewar. Twitter is @shewar. Instagram is shewarshop because somebody beat me to shewar on Instagram and they've never used it and it's always irked me. And I was like, and you said before, when Moz said before the thing about setting up alerts for texts, for tweets, somebody owns the Arsenal. And I've got an alarm set on it and they haven't used it in about 9 years. They've literally done 2 tweets. So if anybody can find out who owns @the Arsenal on Twitter, well, I'd actually pay you money to have it. But yeah, so that's where you can find me.
Brilliant. Well, look, everyone go and take a look at the shop. So got some great stuff on there. Go and follow the blog. I enjoy reading it. So it's all good. And as for us, The Grove, unfortunately, we've only got one presence, and that's at The Grove AFC. You can find us on Twitter, and this pod you can find in the usual feeds. You know how to get a podcast if you're listening to this. And that's that. And look, last week we mentioned we're going to be doing a special pod, as we're doing through the summer on racism in football with one of our fellow Grovers, Sensi, who did a dissertation on this topic as part of her recent degree studies. We hope to record that next week and have that
delayed by another week, but we will have it. Plenty of time for us to soak in the Scotland games.
Yeah.
Inevitably knocked out in the group stage anyway. So.
Yeah. Doing the Grove Scots pass. I can't even say it. Scott. Oh, shut up. Right. Anyway. So look, yeah, that's it. So we're going to maybe see if we can hook up with some other people from the Arsenal online community, do a few of these interviews. As I said, it'd be great fun chatting to Ask Cannon Picks, chatting to you, Gav, and I think that's it really. So there's nothing more for me to say. Then thank you again, Gav, for coming along. Thank you, Moz, for being in the passenger seat this week, and thank you to all our listeners for listening and being with us for the last 67 minutes. So there we go. Right, bye and speak to you next time.
Happy Arsenal. Thanks, Gav. See you guys.
Cheers.